Hey guys, this is Bull. I just wanted to talk about E4 today, about a timed achievement called Gold Rush. For this one, you have to reform to the Golden Horde with the Great Horde before 1500. As everyone usually knows, you start in 1444. I was able to do it with almost 12 years to spare, and finally get Golden Horde. So let's go through and see what I did and what strategies are possible to get this achievement made. So, starting off in November 1444, we have Great Horde. We have quite a few people around us. So if we go with my time lapse, we start off with attacking Ryzan and getting that land immediately. I deck December 11th and go for it as it is an available rival right from the start of the game to give you that small extra boost. And then just take all the land before Muscovy can claim it, before Lithuania can guarantee it, and to solidify it, have that within your territories. What's special about this is that these territories, all of them have, at the beginning of the game, they start with feudalism. In comparison to your main area, any of these horde lands, they don't start with feudalism at all. But Ryzan alone is not enough. I had to come down here and take Gazikma and also take his land. So we take Ryzan, we take them, and as you can see by 1447 both of them are taken. I do not core the land, I just have it, and I take both their cash. So with their cash and their territories within us, we're able to reform to feudalism right off the bat within the first 3 years. Give or take, you know how long it takes to siege both of these guys. Additionally, I did take Odiev right after taking Ryzan. So let's scrub through a little bit further. We then go for Odiev, I believe. Yep, and then as you see, I release Ryzan and Gazmuk, and I make both these guys marches. This is primarily to protect myself from Muscovy. Ryzan has a nice level 3 fort right here on its capital, and I don't think these guys start with a very good fort, but Ryzan definitely. So I really need to boost my numbers because the amount of manpower I have at the game is just not sustainable. I started taking hosts. I got mercenaries right off the bat, and let's see, what else did I do? I kept on going. Took Circassia, gave it to Gazmuk, took Georgia. Now, this is a decent... This was actually too much for a large march. It did not count. To actually reform into Golden Horde, you need to take Nogai, Kispek, and Uzbek's capital. It's one of these guys up here. I think it's this guy. Human. It's actually named something else at the beginning of the game. Also, you will need Mansur and Crimea. And from within Muscovy, you will personally need Kazimov. From Kazan, you will need Kazan itself. And within yourself or a vassal, you will need the following: Yaroslav, Suzadol, Vladimir, Muscovy, and Tiver. Moving forward, Kazan and Uzbek had personally gone in on Nogai, but they didn't take anything, surprisingly. Actually, Kazan and Timurids went into Nogai, and they didn't take anything much. I think they beat them back to a stalemate, thankfully. I was able to move in and take Nogai's province for the achievement, as well as build a nice clear line to Uzbek. I went ahead and took most of Crimea. Crimea had actually taken away Azov and Mantrika from Genoa, so I didn't have to do much there. After that, I actually directly after, in the middle of the war, Muscovy had decided it wanted to go in on top of Kazan, so I rushed over as fast as I could and built a line so they wouldn't be able to take the rest of this, including their capital, so we could get the achievement, blocking them off from Perm and Beshgird. Very important to get Beshgird due to it being Perm's gold mine. We continue to go into Uzbek. As you can see, Muscovy takes its land. Muscovy sometimes will ally 1 Denmark or 2 Livonian Order. In this game, I was really lucky. They decided to take Livonian Order as an ally instead of Denmark at the time. We push into Uzbek, take their capital and their one state, and then continued. Finished off Nogai and got Kipchak. And by this time, I was running really low on manpower, and I didn't know whether Muscovy was just going to deck right into me. And since we did move so far into Uzbek, I was able to go ahead and become a tributary for a small time to Ming. Yep. So after doing that, I waited for Muscovy to go back in on top of Novgorod. They integrated Perm, and it was just them at that time. Livonian Order, they had, for some reason, I think because of the aggressive expansion against Novgorod, Livonian Order broke their alliance with Muscovy. And right as Muscovy had started fighting Novgorod, I started gearing up. I think I had around a force limit of 48, and I had waited till I got cannon tech. I got 4 cannons. I debased currency twice and took 2 loans and got, what was it? It was 20 mercenaries. And then first goals was to defend Ryazan's fort and to take Nizhny Novgorod as fast as possible. So with this war, it was a massive war of attrition. Thankfully, thanks to the mercenaries, I was able to stand my ground. Muscovy was as far and on par with me as far as military-wise, almost. They had not taken the cannon tech just yet. I had just gotten it and then decked into them. So we went up here, took Nizhny Novgorod, defended Kazimov and Ryazan, took this little area here. Then Muscovy decided it wanted to send a bunch of little troops over down here, so we came back and wiped them all out. It was very important to do this as a battle of tribal superiority, which takes battles into account. So there was no main war goal per se, but it gives 75% to aggressive expansion, and I'm able to take all the land that's necessary in one single war. So what I did with my troops was take Nizhny Novgorod, take all of Perm's area, because this is all the terrain here is woods primarily, but over here is oh, was it all woods? Yeah. Yeah, okay. So it was woods. I thought it was not woods, but you know, that doesn't matter. He didn't actually come and fight me at the time. At the time, I was trying to occupy him over here after winning a battle in Nizhny Novgorod. He decided to come back through this area. He was able to get past the fort. Actually, he started to take the fort for a while, and then moved on to my capital because he had access through, I believe it was Altir. Coming back through. Oh, Perm's fine. We can just look at it and discuss. So Kazan's still alive, so we had these areas where we could go through, but Kazan was blocking us off. And these little channels were very nice in trapping people so they couldn't move around as much as they would like. So once they came through here, I took my forces, split them up because they were small chunks. The main force, the Death Stack, was still trying to take Ryazan at the time. So I wiped these out and started building up Battle War score and Ticking War score. We came back, defended Ryazan, kicked him off, and then his manpower started to deplete. At that time, I took all the troops, cleared out the land, came up through Ryazan, and on these two areas, Muscovy as a grass field, took the 4 cannons and the 20 mercs and 2 horsemen, and parked it on Muscovy. The rest of the troops were parked here to reinforce once Muscovy had come in and attacked. Muscovy still has really good military as far as 110, I believe, discipline at the time, and good leaders. So that was a problem. But he backed off. He wanted to go instead, go to raid my capital and race for it, but he did not have Canatech, so I was able to take Muscovy, run back, wipe him out, and then proceed to take on the rest of these forts in the area. So after that, taking the land, I think it was 84, 86, 87, 88. Took the forts here. This one, Rostov, Belarus, and Yaroslav, and Nizhny Novgorod. With that, we had a good 80% war score. Rebels had started to fire over in this area, and he could not do anything anymore. I continued to take this land, and I think for a 94-ish war score, I was able to take Kazmov, Vladimir, Suzdal, Yaroslav, Koloma, Muscovy, and Tver. And with that, granting them over to Ryazan as a subject. That way I could able to just take down Crimea as the last part, or it's not really hard at that point, and then reform as Golden Horde. That's about it. Uh, One other note that I did during the war, I did take improved war taxes. That way, I was able to continue going on and war without having to pay as much as far as military power, and I was still able to pull out good generals while fighting. But that's about it. That's my tips and tricks to forming Gold Rush for the Golden Horde achievement. Take care.